Lando Norris just fired a direct shot at Red Bull and at Max Verstappen himself. During Singapore qualifying, Verstappen was left furious after getting stuck behind Norris, waving his hand in frustration and warning over the radio,
"That's noted, will be remembered as well."
But Norris didn't back down. When asked about angering Max, he smirked. "They always complain." It's Red Bull. The clip spread instantly, shaking up what's usually a friendly rivalry between the two. For the first time, lighthearted banter turned into real tension on and off the track. So what really caused this fiery exchange? And could it change their relationship for good? This story begins with a rare flash of frustration between two of Formula One's biggest stars. During qualifying at the Singapore Grand Prix, Max Verstappen and Lando Norris, usually friendly rivals, found themselves at the center of a tense confrontation that no one expected. It started in the final minutes of Q3. Verstappen was on a flying lap, pushing the limits of the Red Bull, when he suddenly came up behind a slower McLaren. That car was Lando Norris. Verstappen lifted slightly, waved his hand in frustration, and radioed the now famous line, "That's noted. It'll be remembered." For Verstappen, that wasn't just anger in the moment. It was a warning. He rarely forgets when another driver ruins his rhythm. His message wasn't just about losing time, it was about respect. The clip spread instantly online, fans debating whether Norris had blocked him or simply hadn't seen him coming. After the session, Verstappen stayed calm in front of the media. He said it was not ideal, adding, "These things happen, but yes, it's noted." It sounded measured, but everyone could hear the edge. That might have been the end of it, until Norris was asked for his side. Instead of defending himself, Norris laughed. "They always complain," he said. "It's Red Bull. They complain about everything." It was a short answer, but it exploded online. McLaren fans saw it as confidence. Red Bull fans saw it as disrespect. Within hours, both drivers were trending. The world champion's glare and the McLaren driver's grin had just created Formula One's newest talking point. This season, Verstappen and Norris have been close both on and off track. Their friendship and mutual respect have been visible for years. Verstappen has called Norris one of the fastest drivers in the field, while Norris has said Max is the best there's ever been. But this year, their relationship has evolved. They're no longer distant rivals. They're fighting each other for wins and podiums. And in Singapore, that competition finally boiled over. The qualifying clash itself wasn't dramatic by racing standards. Verstappen was on a push lap while Norris was finishing a cooldown. With the track's blind corners and poor visibility, Norris might not have realized how close Verstappen was. Still, in qualifying, small timing errors can cost tenths and tempers. For Verstappen, those tenths matter. Singapore's street circuit makes these moments inevitable. The tight corners, constant traffic, and limited radio warnings mean frustration builds quickly. Verstappen, under pressure after Red Bull's tricky practice sessions, was trying to secure a strong grid slot. Norris, meanwhile, was carrying McLaren's momentum from their previous races. When two drivers that ambitious cross paths, the reaction is never mild. Verstappen's comment, "That'll be remembered," carried more weight than the incident itself. He's known for having a long memory when it comes to rivalries. He's said similar lines before, often just before future on-track payback. It might not mean retaliation, but it does mean awareness. The next time they fight wheel to wheel, both will remember Singapore. Norris's response showed a different type of confidence. His "they always complain" jab was classic. Lando. Quick, cheeky, and designed to diffuse pressure by making it sound funny. But humor in F1 cuts both ways. Fans loved it, but inside the paddock, it signaled something else. That Norris now feels equal to Verstappen, not intimidated by him. Their friendship has always been based on mutual banter. But since McLaren's rise in 2025, that balance has shifted. Norris is no longer the smiling underdog. He's the main challenger, taking pole positions and wins away from Red Bull. Verstappen, who's used to being the undisputed benchmark, now has someone constantly in his mirrors. A small miscommunication in qualifying was all it took for that tension to show. Neither team wants this to escalate. Red Bull and McLaren both know the media loves a rivalry. But privately, both sides also know that pressure can change drivers' behavior. When emotions rise, the smallest move on track becomes symbolic. A late overtake, a defensive squeeze, a look in the mirror. It's all connected to moments like this. Verstappen's reaction wasn't new for him. He's always been direct when he feels blocked or disrespected. Hamilton, Russell, Ocon, they've all been on the receiving end of his sharp comments. Norris, however, is known for staying calm, joking through controversies, and keeping things light. The difference in personality is what makes this rivalry so fascinating. Fire versus composure. Singapore may end up being remembered as the first crack in their calm relationship. It wasn't a crash or a team order controversy. It was something smaller, but more revealing. Verstappen's tone showed irritation. Norris's reply showed defiance. Two approaches, two mentalities, both competing for psychological ground before the next fight. Inside McLaren, the reaction was predictable. They backed their driver, saying he followed standard procedure and didn't intentionally hold anyone up. Red Bull moved on publicly, but it's hard to imagine Verstappen forgetting it. In this sport, memory is motivation. The following day, as the race unfolded, the cameras still caught quick glances between the two cars whenever they shared the track. No aggressive moves, no drama. Just the quiet awareness that things had changed. Norris has built a reputation for keeping things friendly with everyone on the grid, but that's becoming harder as his success grows. When you start beating established champions, you stop being treated like a kid and start being treated like a threat. Singapore proved that moment has arrived. Fans compared the scene to the early days of past rivalries. Hamilton versus Rosberg, Vettel versus Webber, Verstappen versus Ricciardo. Each started with moments like this. A blocked lap, a sarcastic interview, a line on the radio. They always look small at first, then they snowball. The question now is not whether Verstappen and Norris will clash again. It's when. Austin and Mexico are coming up, both tracks that suit McLaren's strengths. Red Bull will fight back with upgrades, but one close qualifying session is all it takes to bring the memory back. Verstappen said it best. It'll be remembered. And when he says that, he means it. Norris, on the other hand, will keep leaning on his humor. It's his shield and his weapon. Every sarcastic response takes attention off the tension and makes him look relaxed. But make no mistake, underneath the smile, he's as competitive as anyone on the grid. He wants wins, not friendships. As the championship fight tightens, this kind of tension adds fuel to the story. Both drivers are fighting for supremacy in the same generation. Both are fast enough to lead a new era of Formula One, and both know that being number one means sometimes playing mental games. Singapore qualifying gave us a glimpse of that battle, not through crashes or penalties, but through body language, radio messages, and press room smirks. Verstappen reminded the paddock that he doesn't forget. Norris reminded everyone that he's not scared. The rest of the season will tell us which attitude wins out. Because in Formula One, rivalries rarely start with a collision. They start with words, with gestures, with tone. And Singapore might just be the weekend where the next one began. So what's your take? Innocent qualifying chaos, or the start of a brewing rivalry? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to check out the next video on your screen. Because sometimes in Formula One, the real battles begin long before the lights go out.